G'day everybody. Today I'm just sort of poking around. Yeah, doing a little bit of an interesting job. I just want to see if I'm just experimenting really to see if I can do it. But basically, got this old, it's like a grain crusher. You pour grain in the top here and it gets milled up in the bottom there and sort of pulverized. Basically, this sits in the garden, like as a garden ornament. It used to work. Now, apparently, according to Dad, I threw something in it when I was a kid, because he used to use it. I threw something in it when I was a kid and it like broke it or jammed it up or something. And then ever since then it hasn't worked. So, I want to see if I can get whatever's jamming it out and free it all up. It's all like seized up now from sitting in the garden for years. We're talking like 20 years. And I want to see if we can actually get it to work, because we've got the belt and the pulley drive for the Massey Ferguson, the 135. So if it worked, we could actually use it. So I'm going to have a look and see whether or not I can actually get it to free up and whether or not I can actually make it work. So I'll show you what's sort of going on with it. So here's like the main drive on it, and your belt obviously goes on there, and that's like rock solid. That's meant to turn. This thing's rock solid as well, which is just this bar here, which I guess just sort of turns the grain over or whatever. That's not full of like dirt and stuff. There's this tin plate there that you can pull out that'll stop stuff falling into it. So I can clean all that out and pull that out and have a look in the bottom. And then all this stuff here, which I'll sort of have to work out. So we'll pull it apart and see what we can make happen. I'm not expecting like to get it going, but it'd be cool if we did. Yeah, so we'll just sort of see what we can do. So I'll have a bit of a look at it, and then we'll come up with a plan and start trying to get it to work. Alright, so I just pulled the tin out that sort of covers up this area, and you can, it's a bit worse than I thought. You can see all the dirt and stuff that's collected in the bottom of the actual like grinding bit, which is these like roller things here. So all that should be empty. So I'll have to dig this dirt out, I think. And then try and get it freed up. Alright, so I cleaned out this bottom part here. Got this part spinning free, but it doesn't really serve any purpose because it doesn't run off anything here. Filled up these oil galleys. There's one here full of oil, and there's one up the other end there. But there, this is still rock solid. So I'm thinking I might have to heat up these nuts and bolts with the oxy. That one's broken there at the casting, so that won't have to heat up. But if I heat them up and can undo them, then that should just all lift off and split in half, and then I can just pull the shaft out and clean it up. And then, yeah, managed to get this end loosened up too, but it didn't free up the shaft. And yeah, there's the other oil galley, which all the oil's leaked out through it. There's who it's made by. Kelly Duplex Jr., number 10mm. Made by the Duplex Mill and MFO Co. Springfield, Ohio, USA. So there you go. That's who it's made by and where it came from. But yeah, I'll get the oxy and we'll heat up these nuts and bolts and see whether or not we can't undo them and split this thing in half. And maybe we can lift that shaft out or clear it up when it's in there with it all out of the way. But we'll have a look how it's going to come apart. It might be a little bit tricky, so we'll get the oxy out and see how we go, I think. Well, this is a good sign. I went to undo the first nut here and it's actually able to be undone just with a shifter, which is very surprising. I did not think that was going to happen. There's annoying square nuts there, so can't quite grab them in every spot. see if this other side will undo. I don't think we'll get too lucky. Oh, there we go. Well, hopefully they're all this easy. I don't think they will be, but we can all hope. They've been soaked in CRC and this side's got oil on them as well. So I think these ones might be a little bit more forgiving because they're right next to where the little oil galley is. So they've probably been sort of soaked in oil over the years. But as I said, they've been sitting in the garden. Well, it's been sitting in the garden for a long time. So I think the rest of them are looking a little bit worse than these ones. Got that one undone as well. Oh, there we go. That's 2 nuts we don't have to worry about. We'll give these ones here a crack. I don't think they're going to be easy at all. These ones here are going to be pretty tough as well. Oh, that one's broken. As well as these 2 here. So we'll give it a go and see how I go, but I think she's going to be a struggle. Alright, we've had some pretty good luck. So we've got those 2 nuts undone there. I managed to get the nut undone off the bottom of there. Now over here on both sides there's like a stud which is like cast in, I think. And the nut on the bottom just seems to spin with the bolt intact. But because I've loosened this all up, this is now free. You can see some rubbish falling out the back there with all the Slater bugs. So that's sort of what it looks like on the inside. I'm not sure what was meant to be blocking it, I don't know. Obviously I was a little kid when I threw whatever I threw in there according to Dad, but it's turning free there at the minute. So I might turn it upside down and just give it a bit of a tap and whatever, get all that dirt and crap out. But yeah, so you can see in there, in the oil galley, the shaft's turning, so that's how that lubricates. And it's the same up the front, in there. So it's not going to stay open, but in there as well. So when that turns, they collect the oil. Dad said there used to be like little hessian, like bits of hessian in there, so that it would soak up the oil and just like let it release slowly. Obviously, that's right of the way. But yeah, that's apparently how it used to work. So I'll flip it upside down, we'll give it all a clean out, and then we'll see if anything big falls out and see whether this thing that apparently I put in there comes out with it. I don't know, but it's spinning free, so it could be usable. And then at least I don't have to pull the whole thing apart, so that'll be good. I'm quite happy with the stuff, even though I did really bugger all, but we won't tell anybody that. Hopefully we don't wreck the tin part. It should be strong enough, I think. Okay, well that's what it looks like upside down if you wanted to know what that looked like. So, spinning freely still. I don't want to break it, it's all cast. I just want to give it a little tap, but so yeah, as I was saying, these ones here just spin. Where's my shifter? Yeah, these must be like a stud or something, because yeah, they're just spinning in place. It's a little bit annoying because you can't really do it up tight, I don't think it's that big of a drama. It's the same with this one over here. It's just spinning as well. If I don't need to undo it, I don't need to undo it. This isn't a full restoration, so it's not like it's getting painted or anything. I just want to see if it will work. So I'll flip it back over. And have a look. Still a bit of stuff in there. A little rubbish here. Nothing big fell out. Just dirt. I'm not sure what the hell was meant to have been in there. Because I can't find anything. There still could be stuff in there. Just don't know. It sounds like there's something hidden in there. Just don't know what. Alright, because there's still heaps of stuff in there, I've got some water. Hopefully that'll wash it out. I mean, I can't make it any worse, can I? You can see it's draining out there. That's where the grain's meant to come out, along with some oil. So all of that dirt has come out now. There's something grinding. Just don't know what it is. I feel like it's just grinds and on the side there. I don't think it's actually anything broken. Tip all this water out. Unless something's gone down into the guts of it there, because there's another grinding area, like a mill or something. I'll have a bit more of a play around and see what I can find. Okay, I think I worked out where that knocking was. Oh, there's a big black spider. We'll get that bastard. Everybody knows that in Australia, big black spiders aren't your friend. There we go. Got him. See you later, alligator. Anyway, before I was rudely interrupted by the big black spider, worked out what that grinding, knocking sort of noise was. I'll show you. There's like some rasp teeth, I guess you call them. But in here, there's like a clutch. Well, not a clutch. That's a stupid way to say it. Think of it as like a if you think of like a flour mill, I guess, the big two stones grind together. This is pretty much the same thing. In there will spin, and this lever here, when pushed in, brings that metal plate down. And basically, the harder you push them together, the finer the grain will be ground. So it's sort of like a flour mill. With it all the way open, the grain will just fall straight through, and only, I'll show you, it'll only get ground by the teeth on that shaft and the gridded teeth, I guess you call them, the bottom as well, that catch on the roller, and they'll get, so they won't get ground, but they'll get beat up like that and fall straight out. If you bring that plate in and hold it in there, decreases the gap that the grain can fall through, and then they get milled up a lot more, and it'll come out a lot powdery, I guess. That's my sort of understanding of it, of what I've worked out to stand there. I'll get that to talk about, because he, well, obviously he used to operate this back in the day. Had a little bit of a side hustle going on, selling grain from this thing, and I'll talk to him about it. But basically, I think it's all right. There's still a little bit of a knock down here. I'll try and find it. Yeah, there. On one of the teeth. And I think that's just from it being worn, or there's like a rust build-up or something down there. I'm not really sure, but if I bring it back up, you can see that tooth right there. This one. It's got a bit more of a shine, so it's obviously hidden. Well, it's not hitting, it's just passing over something down there. And I cannot get anything else out of there. I've flushed a heap of water and flushed all that dirt and stuff out. So I think it's okay. It might be just from wear, and it's just getting close to the bottom. But I'll see if I can get anything else out of there. I don't think I will be able to, but we'll have a look. But it seems to spin pretty free there. I've got to put the nuts back on and clamp it down, but I won't do it up super tight. I'll just leave a bit of a gap. On the gap, I'll just do them up, sort of nip them up, and that'll just make sure that it doesn't grab too tight on the shaft, and it'll stop it from spinning. Here's this grinding plate operation. If I knock that back in, that's hard up against it. We'll probably hear it grind. Yeah. I'll hold my foot on it while I spin it. You can hear it grinding there now with the plates. Yeah, basically doing that would grind your grain a lot finer. But yeah, I'll put those nuts back on and I'll wait for Dad to come back up, have a quick chat to him, and get his opinion on the situation, and we'll go from there. I found the thing that I must have put in there when I was a kid. Just dragged it out there, and I was just feeling underneath that bar, the rotating bar under there, just to see if I could find anything. It looks like that bar that was hitting up against this is a smoothed area. I don't know what the hell this is, but it shouldn't be in there. I'll go give it a wash and I'll come back. I'm so surprised that it was actually in there and just hiding down the bottom in some dirt that I hadn't flicked out of the way. I'll give it a wash and I'll come back. Yeah, I gave it a wash. I'm not sure what the hell it is. It's like cast metal by the looks of it. I don't know what the hell. I don't know if it's a part of the machine and it wasn't what I threw in, but it was obviously hitting something under there. That smooth bit there. Unless that was where it was just sitting on, stuck with rust. The only thing it sort of looks like is in the house on our the windows. We've got window latches. It sort of looks like one of the window latches. It's busted here, which would probably be where there was a point where it nailed down, but basically there'd be a nail here and this would like open and shut like that on the latch of the window, and that bit would hold it. That's sort of what it looks like, but I don't know why the hell I would have had one of these and thrown it in, or if I just found it laying around, because it used to be over next to the wool shed, the grind thing. I don't know if I just picked it up and chucked it in, or what exactly happened. I'll have to ask Dad if he can remember. He blames me, but I can't remember doing it. Yeah, I don't know what the hell this thing is, but yeah, it was down the bottom, so lucky I found it and didn't test it. With this stuck in there, it could have been catastrophic. I'll clean out this little bit more dirt that I cleaned out and wait for Dad. Alright, well Dad's just rocked back up and we were just having a quick chat about this. Yeah, so I'll give you over to him. Run us through the day that it broke and what you remember of that day.
Well, viewers, Cam was about this high and he come mucking around with Dad, as kids that high do, and he decided that it'd be fun to chuck this in there, and it sort of half stuffed it. Anyway, he sort of must have felt guilty, and he's redoovered it all up, freed it up and got it gupping. Whether it actually works again or what, I don't know. But what I was doing with it when I used to fiddle around with it a bit, we'd have a belt on that pulley there, and there's a belt pulley goes on the PDO of the little tractor here. And it'd spin, and you put your grain in here. I don't know whether the cam shows you. Now, it's before my time. Like, I think they call it a grister. Anyway, people in the know will know better than me. But the grain falls down there, and it gets crushed up to a certain degree, and it travels out along that shaft there. Now, I'm assuming there's two little grinding plates in here, and when the grain goes through there, they're rubbing up against one another, and they'll crush up the grain depending on how fine you want it. You can crush it up like oatmeal, like Uncle Toby's porridge type stuff, or you can have it a bit coarser depending on the grain. Like, I used to do a bit of oats for Mother and the horses, and when we had a couple of pigs here, we'd feed them. I had a bit of wheat. Well, you crush that up pretty well so it doesn't go in one end and out the other. So it's good for feeding stock because it actually crushes the grain up, and when they eat it, they ingest it better than just say whole grain, because their body and their metabolism is able to absorb it more. And there are things in wheat and barley, if stock do get it fed to them in a whole grain in too big a quantity, it will set up a toxin in their body and it will poison them. So this is just an old garden ornament my father pinched off one of my relations, and I put it to use. Cam stuffed it, but now he's brought it back to life. We might be able to use it again. Who knows? But we'll keep you in the picture. Bye.
Right. So there you go. That's an explanation of what happened apparently, and what it's used for. So we might try and test it out. We won't be hooking it up to the tractors today because it needs to be anchored down. And we tore up the concrete where it used to be anchored to. So we might leave that for another video, but we'll come back to you in another video we'll get it set up somehow, and we'll give it a test and put some grain in there and see what it actually does do. And we'll make another video out of that. So yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. This is a different video. Don't expect any more sort of videos of me mucking around with machines that are like 150 years old. But yeah, so thanks for watching. We'll catch us in the next one. All right.